after the bridge all the way here, the trail is flat now and it's not single track anymore. There's no more rocks. Oh yeah, look at that. They didn't mess this up. Oh. Woo-hoo. Oh man, the bike got better. I lowered down the front end. I am on my new Specialized Turbo Levo Carbon, the base model that I picked up about a month ago. I don't have my Heckler anymore. Heckler 9. I sold it about 5 months ago because I wasn't riding actively anymore for 8 months. Okay, this bike is too fast, so jumpy. For 8 months I wasn't riding and had like 3 bikes that's taking up space in my garage, and plus I didn't like the noise anymore. Couldn't stand it anymore, the rattle. Every time I would ride my Ripley or my stump jumper Evo, and then I go back and ride my Heckler, oh man, it's kind of hard to enjoy riding because it's just so noisy. The motor rattle on the Heckler, but the Heckler is cool because when you buy that bike within stock configuration, I got the lowest model and I rode it stock trim. The bike was good. There's no learning curve. Yeah. You just ride it. And riding that Heckler here is a lot easier. I think because the front end is slacker. Who knows? You know what? I didn't even check if my... What the fuck am I struggling here for? I got an e-bike. Where's my settings at? Okay, something's not right. Why am I struggling? On eco mode. I'm scared to do the trail mode. This bike is torquey. I can't control it. I feel like sometimes I feel like I'm just a passenger. Trail mode. Yes. See, right now it's actually leaving me. Oh shit, it's too wild. Went back to eco mode. Shit's too wild. And my trail mode is only 25% assist. And then the peak is at 35. My eco mode is at 10% assist and 20% or 15% peak. Fuck yeah, pedal strike. Stupid riding. Oh my gosh, and no grace climbing up that. Just literally motoring my way up it. This bike is fast and it's not in a good way. I did try 5% assist and 15% peak power. Still that initial takeoff is just quick. It has that much punch. Even worse on trail, or of course boost. My boost is of course 100% assist and peak. So even if I'm on an e-bike and I want to boost this, I just can't. This shit is too fast. The bike is leaving me. I gotta ride this and only this bike. Then I get used to the speed, the power. And you know what's funny is that my Heckler, it feels so natural, that EP8 motor. I shifted to my granny, which is weird. Let's not do that. I would switch to my Ripley or my stump jumper after riding the Heckler, and no problem. Even if I go back to my Heckler, it just feels so natural, like a mountain bike. That bike with that EP8 motor. You can feel the trail. You feel like you're mountain biking. This one, even though I love my stump jumper Evo, this one does not feel like the stump jumper Evo. My stump jumper Evo feels more like the Heckler 9 that I had. I remember switching back and forth between those two bikes, and I would feel the same. I'd go at the same speed. I'd hit the same stuff. Now, with this, it's almost like a bigger version of my Ripley, but not big enough as my stump jumper Evo. Oh, I'm exhausted. I rode yesterday. I went fast yesterday on my Ripley. Tried to break my old time, just trying to get back in shape. I have been riding actively for 2 months now, 3 to 4 times a week, mainly my Ripley. This one I did put 100 miles on this bike. I just don't like riding it. I don't regret buying it because it's so cheap for a Specialized Turbo Levo current model that's a carbon with 700 watt-hour battery. Out the door was $39.20. That's $3,920 US. And it comes with free 700 watt-hour battery. Yeah, this bike, you just need time to get used to it. Especially that motor. It's got a lot of power. The power is good, but the initial surge of that power, it's not linear like the Shimano EP8 on my Heckler 9 before. This one, from dead stop, and you tap that pedal, whee, the bike's gonna take off, man. But you do need to get used to that, and I'm sure you get used to it. People won't even notice it anymore, especially if they're only riding that Levo. Sorry for climbing up that way. I wasn't paying attention. Didn't realize that was the ramp. Anyway, yeah, I'm sure if you're riding the Specialized Levo, Turbo Levo for a month, and you're riding that bike only, for a month, you know, you're doing 200 miles a month, you're gonna get used to that bike, to the motor. But if you're not like me, I'm just constantly switching off to the pedal, the mountain bikes. This one feels very torquey. Like this, it's fine. You don't notice that. But then on a slow speed, technical stuff, to where you want to finesse your pedal, your cadence, you want to climb up it gracefully as opposed to just plowing into stuff because you have the motor. It's hard. It's hard to do that with this bike. Put this on eco mode. Yeah, I have the Fox Float X in the back. Yeah, all the upgrades I have on this is the same as the one I have in my Heckler, because I wanted to feel close, but it's actually, they don't feel the same. They don't feel close at all. The Heckler is just easy to ride, a lot easier to ride than this one. It's like a plow bike, you know, it feels like a 170 travel bike. To me it does. This one, yeah, it feels like a 150. And although the Heckler 9 has that rattle, this one is not quiet. It's still loud. Why did I expect it to be like quiet like a mountain bike? It is loud. Not as loud as the Heckler, but you can hear it. I thought it was the brake line. It's not. I tied it earlier. It's the same. Passing on your left here. You're good, thank you. I haven't been on this trail in a year. I haven't been on any bumpy trail in 8 months. So I can feel that on my leg. Even though I've been climbing pretty hard lately and riding actively, I just don't have this kind of trail. And my confidence level is not all there. So I'm scared to go back and start doing shit like this. Right now the goal is just to ride. Instead of just sitting around and eating. That's what I've been doing. Actually, I've been racing my RC car for the past 8 months, and I stopped 2 months ago. Thank you, just me. Been active for 8 months. Racing my RC. When I say racing, it's not like just playing around. Just playing around at a club race and doing like laps and stuff. Racer club race. No. I actually used to be a pro driver. Race RC. I won a couple of national championships, few regionals, and I'm actually a world title in RC racing. And right now at the moment, I am the number one. I am in the number one rank in the United States. That's kind of cool after not racing for 11 years. So yeah, I kind of have an idea of what it's like in a competition level. You know, that level of racing, just not in mountain biking. Holy shit, this back end is always getting hung up. Not like the Heckler. The Heckler too gets hung up, but this one, it's the horse link, and it's 27.5, so it's worse. But my stump jumper Evo doesn't do that. Doesn't get hung up. Wasn't sure if there's still lime there. Yeah, I'm beat. I can't stand up anymore. Rest a little bit. Just not ready for this kind of trail. This is, I think, 1 mile, 1.5 miles. Holy cow. So I'm not gonna blame the bike on that. That's just all me. I'm just out of shape. Death grip on the handlebar. Hella pulling the brake like I don't have 4 pistons. I'm not gonna lie, I can't tell the difference between the 2 pistons and the 4 pistons at the moment. And I use 2 pistons on my Heckler organic pads. This one I have 4 pistons, also an XT, but with metallic pads. Cannot tell the difference. And I'm pretty sensitive to stuff. In RC racing, you don't ride in the car, you just control it. But I can feel all that from driving. So I am pretty sensitive to that stuff. Too sensitive sometimes. Woohoo! I know in most of the reviews, this bike, the Turbo Levo, is their pick over the Heckler. After owning both bikes, my opinion, for me, the Heckler hands down way better than this bike. This bike, I feel higher on the bike. Doesn't feel like my stump jumper Evo. Does not feel like the Heckler. The Heckler, you feel like the wheels, you're inside the frame and you're just plowing through stuff. But at the same time, it's so easy to move. You know, when you turn side to side like that, the transition. I like the Heckler. I didn't need to learn to ride it. Unlike this one, I had to learn how to ride it. I had to chase setup. I'm still chasing setup. And I even have new shock on this bike. Right, I got the Float X, which is what I have on my stump jumper Evo. On my Santa Cruz, I got the cheap shock. But that bike, even at 64, it feels very capable. To me, that's the biggest bike I've ever had. The longest wheelbase. And it's not the slackest bike I've had. I've had a stump jumper Evo 2020 model. That's like 63 degrees head angle. It doesn't boost confidence though. It's just slack. When you go on the steep, I feel more comfortable on the Heckler at 64.5. Corner. Yeah, I like the Heckler. It's just a big bike, like I said. A big bike and it's noisy. This one, I'm totally gonna sell this one for sure. But it's a cheap e-bike. You either get this or get something that's hard to sell, you know. This one is specialized. Everyone wants specialized, especially it's carbon fiber. They don't care how it rides. It's specialized, man. I'm sure. Yeah, this one rides good too. It's just that it's not as good as the Heckler for me. I can't demo a bike because I'm so picky. I have to buy it, put my parts, ride it, give myself a month. Usually the bike that I get to keep are the ones that once I ride it, oh man, I'll fall in love with it, and then that's it. That's the bike to keep.